Greetings, bienvenue, welcome, welcome to a how to make video here on Plague Doctor Cocktails. Don't forget to drop the video a like, make sure you subscribe for more content, and why not leave us a comment down below. Now today's video is going to be a focus on an inspired drink, one from back in my uni days at a wonderful cocktail bar in Wrexham, North Wales, called Voodoo Moon. My all-time favourite of theirs was a smoked rum refashioned, and so, with my own twist on the concept, I'm going to show you how to make the chocolate rum old-fashioned. What you're going to need to do first is infuse the rum you plan on using for this drink. I'm going to show you how. I'm using a shop brand dark rum because the flavour will come from whatever you put into it, so the background of it isn't really that important. This will include bitter orange peel, ginger, ground or fresh is absolutely fine, a small handful of coffee beans, a cinnamon stick, and a few cardamom pods. And, most importantly, cacao nibs for that chocolate flavour. And lastly, a jar to put it all in. Just make sure you wash out the pasta sauce first, yeah? Pop your coffee beans in, and just a small handful will do for now, quickly followed by the cardamom pods. These are used a lot in curry dishes, but really pairs well and helps emphasise the richness of the coffee and chocolate. Next, snap your cinnamon stick in too, and throw it on into the jar. Then, cut off a knob. Yes, I know, I said knob, of fresh ginger. Ground ginger works perfectly fine with this, so just use whatever you can get. You should peel the ginger because otherwise it will leave quite a bit of sediment at the bottom of your jar, which just makes straining a pain in the arse. Once peeled, take the flat blade of a knife, and be careful not to cut yourself, and crush the ginger. Next is the orange peel. Doesn't have to be neat and tidy here, as we're going to be chopping it up into small pieces anyway. This will allow the oils to permeate the rum a little bit more than if we just left them whole. Then comes the cacao nibs. These, as I said before, are important if you don't have bitters. This is the source of the chocolatey flavouring that comes around through the drink. Around an ounce of these is perfect, so, as before, just chuck them on in and go from there. Now, it's important to note that it's always good to have a few more ingredients spare, just because then you can add a little extra depending on the taste and strength of flavours that you want. Personally, I like a little bit more coffee and a little bit more orange with this. Lastly, pour in the rum. This amount of spices and ingredients are perfect for just under 70 centilitres of rum. I love doing this because as the cacao nibs sink to the bottom, it kinda reminds me of autumn leaves falling from the trees. Place the lid on and give it a good shake. Just make sure the lid's on tight because I didn't and it kinda dribbled a bit. Once that's done, you're going to need to put it somewhere dark and cool for a while to infuse. This batch I would probably leave for around 6 hours, but the longer you leave it, the more flavours infuse with the rum. So, in the meantime, why not find something else to do? Now what about the history of the old-fashioned, on which this drink is based? Well, as it goes, here is what I found, written in an article on www.thrillist.com, History and Origin of the Old-Fashioned Cocktail. In 1862, in a book entitled Jerry Thomas's Bartender's Guide, How to Mix Drinks is published, giving instructions and recipes from the early days of bartending. This book contains a recipe for an old-fashioned Holland gin cocktail. Crush a small lump of sugar in a whiskey glass containing a little water. Add a lump of ice, 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, a small piece of lemon peel, 1 jigger of Holland gin, mix with a small bar spoon, and serve. While the drink has the namesake and similar elements of the modern old-fashioned, Thomas's recipe doesn't call for whiskey, and it's never mentioned in any of the preceding articles. In 1880, the story starts in Louisville, Kentucky. A 2005 article in the Courier-Journal gives credit to a private social club called the Pendennis Club for making the very first old-fashioned. James E. Pepper, bartender and esteemed bourbon aristocrat, was said to have invented the drink in Louisville before he brought the recipe to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel bar in New York City. This is supposedly where the old-fashioned was born. February 15th, 1880, the Chicago Daily Tribune publishes an article announcing that Samuel Tilden, the 25th mayor of New York and former Democratic candidate for the US presidency, has withdrawn from the United States presidential election. In this article, the author mentions how Tilden's withdrawal was met. Hot whiskies, Scotch and Irish, particularly the latter, sour mashes, and old-fashioned cocktails were drank in honour of the event. January 1st, 1936. An article in the New York Times, written by a man only known as Old Timer, reflects on the years following the end of Prohibition. In the piece, the man gives makeshift recipes for cocktails, including one for the old-fashioned. Consider, for instance, the old-fashioned cocktail. Time was when the affable and sympathetic bartender moistened a lump of sugar with Angostura bitter, dropped in a lump of ice, neither too large nor too small, stuck in a miniature bar spoon, and passed the glass to the client with a bottle of good bourbon, from which said client was privileged to pour his own drink. So there it is, a short look into the history of the old-fashioned, from origin to what is now considered a cornerstone of cocktail bars worldwide today. So, let's get on and make the drink itself. Grab yourself an old-fashioned glass and pop a sugar cube at the bottom. A couple of splashes of Angostura aromatic bitters go straight into the glass, soaking the cube. Crush that with a muddler or a spoon and place a large ice cube on top. Give it a stir and chill the glass a little. Next, you're going to add in 1 ounce of our rum, strained and smelling amazing by the way, and pour it over the ice cube. Up next is half an ounce of whiskey, whether that's rye, smoked, triple barrel aged, that's your call to make, so pour that over the ice. And although there's already a sugar cube in there, and this part is completely optional, but then throw in half an ounce, or to your taste, of Demerara sugar syrup. Make sure you give it a good old stir, and then leave it for a couple of minutes, to give the ice cube a chance to dilute some of the alcohol. I promise, it'll taste even better. And to garnish, a little leftover orange peel. Give it a squeeze and place it on the side of the glass. And there you have it, a chocolate rum old-fashioned. It won't be to everyone's taste, but I personally think this is perfect for these autumnal nights that we've found creeping up on us. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and why not leave me a comment down below. And until next time, thank you very much for watching.